my friends, welcome, welcome. Let's get started with 25 easy questions that every PMP student can ace. These are pretty easy questions, okay? So we're going to get started right now. The very first question. If you need more time, hit the pause button, because what I'm going to do is whiz through the questions and the answers. So if you need more time, just go ahead and hit the pause button. Here's your first question. You have just been assigned as the project manager to an Agile project. Which of the following will help you share the vision with your team? Very easy question. If you need more time, hit the pause button. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I am about to reveal the answer, so if you need more time, hit the pause button. The answer to this is not work performance reports. You don't have that yet. And it says you've just been assigned, right? The risk log, you don't have that yet. You've just been assigned as the project manager. And what this question is looking for is the sharing of the vision. It won't be the human resource plan. That will not help you share the vision. The best answer is the Agile project charter. See, told you it was easy. Easy stuff. Easy. You're going to come away realizing you know a lot. Let's go to our next one. True or false? There are 3 artifacts in Scrum. If you need more time, hit the pause button. 3, 2, 1. The answer to this question is true. There are 3 artifacts in Scrum: Product Backlog, Sprint Backlog, and Increment. Let's go to our next question. The next question reads, Scrum is a heavyweight framework that helps people, teams, and organizations generate value through adaptive solutions for complex problems. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I told you this was an easy one. The answer to this is false. Scrum is not a heavyweight framework. It's a lightweight framework. Let's go to our next question. It's another true or false, and it says, in Scrum, a product owner orders the work for a complex problem into a product backlog. Is that true or false? 3, 2, 1. That is a true statement. It is indeed correct to say a product owner orders the work for a complex problem into a product backlog. Remember, the product owner is responsible and accountable when it comes to the backlog. Now, even though work could be delegated, the first person you think about as being accountable is the product owner. Next question. You have just been hired as a project management professional. You join a company where they are looking up to you for direction and guidance, being that you hold this great certification. What is the first thing you should do on an Agile project? That one could be a little bit of a head scratcher, but you should pull through. I'll give you a little bit more time to think about the answer. Time up on that one. What do you think the answer is? 3, 2, and 1. Well, on an Agile project, the very first thing you should do is not to refine a backlog. You don't have a backlog, right? It's not sprint planning because you would need your backlog to do that. And it's not sprint review. That's when your customer checks the deliverable. So the answer in this case is backlog preparation. Take a look at pages 51, 52 forward in the Agile Practice Guide. Get to understand the practices in the world of Agile. I know some people will struggle with that, thinking it should be sprint planning. No, that would not be the first thing that would happen. You need your backlog. Without it, you can't do sprint planning. All right, let's go to our next one. This is a true or false question. An iteration must be 4 weeks or less. True or false? 3, 2, 1. Remember to hit the pause button if you need more time. The answer to that question is false. It does not have to be 4 weeks or less in other Agile frameworks, only in Scrum. So in the world of Scrum, we say 1 to 4 weeks. But in other frameworks, Kanban is flow-based. Your cadence doesn't have to be 4 weeks or less. It could be more than 4 weeks. All right, here's another question. True or false? In Agile project management, scope is flexible and cost and schedule are fixed. True or false? If you need more time, hit the pause button. 3, 2, 1. The answer is true. In the world of Agile, the only thing that is flexible is scope. The other two components, they are fixed. Keep that in mind. Let's go to our next question. True or false? The Scrum Masters and product owners turn a selection of the work into an increment of value during the sprint. Is that true or false? 3, 2, 1. The answer to that question, that is false. It is not the product owner and Scrum Masters. It is actually the developers, the development team. Next question. You have just completed a sprint review. What is the next thing you should do on this Agile project? If you need more time, hit the pause button. 3, 2, 1. After the sprint review, the next ceremony is a sprint retrospective, and it's the final one in the world of Scrum. Next question. True or false? In Scrum, 2 or more product owners are advised where possible. Is that true or false? 3, 2, 1. The answer to this question is false. In Scrum, 1 product owner is advised. Next question. In Kanban, we strive to limit WIP. True or false? WIP stands for work in progress. The answer to this question is true. We limit our WIP in the world of Kanban. The key goal is really optimization, but we limit WIP. We have limits that we place when it comes to our work in progress, depending on the capacity of the team. Next question, true or false? In Scrum, the first event is the daily Scrum. 3, 2, 1. The answer to this question, it is false. The first event, it should read, is the sprint itself. The first event is the sprint, because the sprint is a container for all the other events. Think about it like that, okay? The first event is the sprint itself, and then we do our sprint planning. Once the sprint, of course, has started, you do the sprint planning. All right, a little bit of trickery in that one, but nonetheless, you should be in very good shape to get at least an 80% in this thing. Next question. You have just been hired as a project management professional. You join a company where they're looking up to you for direction and guidance, being that you hold this great certification. The project deliverables have been accepted and signed off on. What should you do next? Please hit the pause button if you need more time, because I will show the answer pretty quick. 3, 2, 1. The answer to this question is not learn about what needs to be done next. You've only got sign off. there are other things you need to do, right? Eventually, you should get to the point where you close the phase, release all the resources. But the most sensible thing to do at this point is to go into administrative closure. Don't release the resources yet, because they could very well help you in the administrative closure. And when we say all resources, we're talking about human, equipment, material, supplies, and so on. All right, let's go to our next one. Scrum employs an incremental predictive approach to minimize predictability and to control risk. 3, 2, 1. This is false. Better said, Scrum employs an iterative incremental approach to optimize predictability, not to minimize predictability. You catch that little play on words there? Every word counts on your exam, my friends. Next question. Commitment, openness, and courage. These are known as the 3 pillars of Scrum and the Scrum principles. True or false? Hit the pause button if you need to think about it. 3, 2, 1. The answer to this question, my friends, is false. The 3 pillars of Scrum are transparency, inspection, and adaptation. For those of you just come in, it's another one of those pub quizzes, your buddy Phil, just trying to test and see, make sure you know all of these very basic things. I'm going to put a little chat here. If you have any questions about the exam, please go ahead and ask. The whole idea is to check up on you, make sure you're doing well, make sure that your questions are answered if there are any. If you are taking the CAPM exam, this isn't for you. There's too much Agile in this question set. All right, so if you have questions, please ask them, put them in the chat box, okay? Thank you very much for joining. It's a timestamp. It's 10:01 on the East Coast. So feel free to put your questions in if our times do align, all right? 10:01 on the East Coast, 10:01 p.m. on the 14th of April. My goodness, where's April going? It's going crazy, crazy quick. All right, let's go to our next question. Next question here. True or false? Burn charts are an essential artifact and mandatory in Scrum. True or false? 3, 2, 1. This is false. Burn charts are not an essential artifact in Scrum. It's nice to tailor up when you're using Agile. Though helpful, burn charts are not essential in Scrum. It might surprise you because we talk about them all the time, right? Bear in mind, user stories as well are not mandatory in Scrum. It's not referred to in the Scrum guide that user stories are essential or burn charts. All right, let's go to our next question. You've just been hired as a project management professional. You join a company where they are looking up to you for direction and guidance, meaning that you hold this great certification. The project deliverables have been accepted and signed off by the customer. What should you do next? What should you do next? What do you think? I'm going to give you a little bit more time to think about this one. Few more seconds. All right. Thank you very much. Let's take a look at the answer for this one. 3, 2, and 1. So what should you do next? If the deliverables have been accepted and signed off by the customer, that validates scope. You still need to think about other things on the project, So learning about the next project to be done, that's all well and good, but that's not what you're going to do next. So it's not that. Releasing all the resources is not what you want to do immediately because you have to do some closeout stuff that they could help you with. And it won't be to close out the phase because you would need to release the resources, of course. So the best answer is compile all the lessons learned. You would need to do that. That would be the best choice. All right, so the answer to that is compile all the lessons learned. Let's go to our next question. Lean thinking increases production and waste while it focuses on the essentials. True or false? 3, 2, and 1. All right, the answer to this question is false. It is false because it talks about increasing waste. You are minimizing waste in the world of lean. Lean thinking does not increase waste. All right, here's another question. True or false? SPI equals EV divided by AC. If you need more time, hit the pause button. 3, 2, 1. The answer, my friends, is false. The correct formula is earned value divided by planned value. Okay. EV divided by AC is a different formula for CPI. So that is false. Okay, next question. On a Scrum team, work must be released every sprint. True or false? If you need more time, hit the pause button. 3, 2, 1. The answer to that question, my friends, is false. You do not have to release every sprint in the world of Scrum. In the world of Scrum, we get an increment. We could refer to it as a potentially shippable increment, but it doesn't mean that you need to ship because you may not have enough features in the product to release it. So there's a difference between a sprint and a release. Many sprints could be in a release. Many PSIs, if you will, potentially shippable increments, could make up a release. So you don't have to release every sprint. Next question. In Scrum, there must be backlog refinement every sprint. True or false? All right, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, my friends. Before I reveal the next answer, I would ask you for a favor. If you're watching, you're finding value from these questions, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, hit that bell icon so that you can get notified whenever I come online with some of these pub quizzes. We had one yesterday, and we always have them every now and again. The answer to this question, my friends, is false. You do not have to put backlog refinement in as a ceremony or event every sprint. In fact, the co-creators of Scrum, Ken Schwaber and Jeff Sutherland, don't put this in the Scrum guide. And the reason is the product owner could choose to do this as he or she sees fit, depending on a lot of factors. So it's not mandatory. A lot of people do backlog refinement, and that's good, but it's not mandatory. The word must gives it away. Next question. You have just completed your project management plan. What should you do next? This should be a rather easy one. Hit the pause button if you need more time. 3, 2, 1. The answer to this is direct the project work. Well, first of all, you wouldn't create a business. You're already in a business, hopefully. You wouldn't create a business case, right? Because it says you just completed the project management plan. All of that stuff should have been done before. You wouldn't authorize the project because it was already authorized in the charter. So the best option is direct the project work. Very simple, right? Simple logic. All right, here's another one. True or false? There are 5 process groups in project management. 3, 2, 1. That is easy peasy. It is true. There are 5 process groups: initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, and controlling, and closing. Let's take a look at this one. The Scrum team consists of stakeholders, 1 Scrum Master, 1 product owner, 1 architect, and developers. If you need more time, hit the pause button. 3, 2, 1. The answer to this question is false. The Scrum team consists of 1 Scrum Master, 1 product owner, and developers. Stakeholders, architect, those are all made up. So that is false. Okay, let's move on to our next question. The project team's velocity is fluctuating and is much higher than normal. What is the most likely purpose? I will give you a few more seconds than normal to answer this one. And if you have any questions about the PMP exam or anything else you want me to address in project management, feel free to chat in the chat box. You'll see the live chat, put it in there, and I will answer as soon as I can. Again, timestamp, it's 10 minutes past 10 on the East Coast. It's the 14th of April, and we will be ending this in the next 3 or 4 minutes. So put any questions in there, and I'll get to them as soon as possible. For now, let's play a little bit of music while you answer this question. This question. So what do you think? What is a likely purpose? Okay, so in this case, it's not a bad thing for your velocity to be much higher than normal. It's something that you want to know why, though, right? Why is this happening? So if your velocity is high, it means that you're getting more work done. You're getting story points that you typically wouldn't get done. You're getting more story points done, right? So it can't be because your capacity is low. It could be because your capacity is higher in a particular time period. Maybe people are not on holidays like they have been. More people are available. People have more time, So it's not one. Let's take a look at number 4, many user and system requirements. No, that would be the opposite. If you had all of these things to do, right, it's possible that those could suck you down. But having a lot of requirements or having a lot of stories is not a contributor to your velocity being higher. Velocity is how many story points you're getting done in a sprint. So it wouldn't be number 4. The stories are too tough. Again, it's already baked into the estimate. So whether the stories are tough or whether the stories are easy, the story points are story points. If anything, if the stories are tougher than you estimated, your velocity would be low. So this does not explain why your velocity is higher. So the best answer is the most ambiguous one. It's hard to tell. On your PMP exam, you will come across questions where the answer is just in the middle of the road. It looks rather bland, but that's the best answer, my friends. All right, let's move on to our next one. This is about Scrum again. The ideal size of a Scrum team is 3 to 15 members. True or false? What do you think? 3, 2, 1. All right. The answer to this is false. It is not between 3 to 15 members. 15 would be too big of a number, okay? So if you go into the Scrum Guide, go to scrumguides.org. And if you haven't already done that, I would like to recommend that you do that. It's not a bad thing to do, to read the Scrum Guide. Yes, it's a PMI exam, but do you know that Scrum is used so widely across the world? Go down to that link and read the Scrum Guide and understand a little bit more about Scrum beyond what is in the Agile Practice Guide. I think it will really help you. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at our final answer. Final answer. Okay. Again, you got to choose the best option. The ideal size of a Scrum team is 3 to 9 members. True? False? What do you think? All right, 3, 2, and 1. So I'm going to leave this question as a cliffhanger. The reason is, in the Agile Practice Guide, you have Agile teams being defined as 3 to 9 members. But in the Scrum Guide in particular, it reads, the Scrum team is small enough to remain nimble and large enough to complete significant work within a sprint. Typically 10 or fewer people. So 10 or fewer. See that? And that's why it's a cliffhanger. If I had said, according to the Scrum Guide, the ideal Scrum team is ... 10 or less, then that would have been more of a fair question. So I want you to be aware, though, that in the world of the Agile Practice Guide, it talks about between 3 to 9 for an Agile team, but you do know that Scrum is just one of the Agile frameworks. Just one. You got many others. All right. So, my friends, we have come to the end of our pop quiz for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so when your buddy Phil comes on, you'll be notified. All right. Any questions before we round up? Let's take a look. I do not see any questions. Seems like everyone is still answering the questions, and you did hit the pause button just like I advised you to. Well done. I wish you all the very best in your prep. Talk to you very soon. Bye for now.